In this video, we're going to be finding out what is the best method to get gold in the game. And to do this, I spent days researching the methods of getting gold. From manual gold grinders, glitches, to AFK farms, all to find the best method of grinding gold. The first group of grinders we're going to be talking about is manual gold grinders. These grinders are where you have to manually load it in and get through the stages. There are a few grinders in this category, and the first one is this giant wheel, sometimes called walkers. It's just two lines of blocks placed in a cross with a pilot seat in the middle. For building materials, you need a couple of strong blocks and a pilot seat, which is pretty expensive, but other than that, it's just a really simple grinder. So let's test it out. The pros: you get a gold block and it's easy to control. But the cons: the pilot seat is expensive and it's very slow with a gold rate of 3,050 gold per hour. Now the next grinder isn't really a grinder, but it's just jets, and as you can see, it is very slow, and there's a chance this might happen. In total, I went through half the stages in 1 minute 40 seconds for only 40 gold. That's only 1,440 gold per hour. This is a wing jetpack and this is a thruster. Combine them and you have this. Now these wing jetpacks do cost Robux, but let's go ahead and test it. And in the end, we only got 40 gold in about 50 seconds, so that's 2,880 gold per hour. Now the problem here is that you have to set it up each time you die, and it's too fast not getting gold in some stages. Now it is better than the jets, but the ways to get gold later in this video are going to be tens of thousands more gold per hour than just this. Now moving on to the next group of grinders, which is glitches. These grinders use glitches to make them overpowered. And the first glitch we have is this famous butter on top of the hinge. We've all seen this unless you live under a rock. It's one of the most simplest and easiest grinders to build, and it's not even expensive. And plus, the gold rate is 6,545 gold per hour if you get a perfect run each time. But if I were you, I would only use this as a beginner to get gold for the AFK grinders later on in this video. The next glitch is this weird contraption called the sled. You will need a pilot seat for this to work, so it is pretty expensive, but it is simple to make. And as you can see, it does ride like a sled, and you can pretend to be like Santa or something. It's pretty fast, so it does miss a couple of stages, which brings a total of 5,600 gold per hour, which is surprisingly worse than that hinge with the butter. This glitch is the most cheapest grinder in the game. All you need is a butter block, a seat, and a hinge. Place down your seat, sit in it, sit on anchor off, and place a butter block here and a hinge right here. And just delete the seat and you're done. But there's just one problem: it breaks in some stages. And it's painfully slow with a time of 2 minutes 40 seconds, making it only 2,250 gold per hour, which is the slowest grinder in this video. The next glitch is this pilot seat with the magnet and rod, and it's very simple to make. It's slower and smoother than the last grinder, which makes it easier to control. Now it does miss 1 or 2 stages, but with 90 gold and 50 seconds for each round, that would calculate to a good 6,480 gold per hour. And the last glitch grinder is this, which is called the anti-gravity grinder. This uses 3 magnets, a pilot seat, 2 wheels, and 2 springs. It is a little bit more complicated to build than the other ones, but once you build it, it's very smooth and you barely have to do any work for it to get to the end. With 50 seconds and around 80 gold each round, that leaves us with 5,760 gold per hour. So for the glitch grinder category, the 2 best ones I recommend are the magnet with the rod and the anti-gravity grinder. And if you don't have enough money for a pilot seat, just use the hinge and butter glitch. These are the most dependable and efficient grinders. Now moving on to the last category, which is AFK farms. These are the fastest and most efficient ways to farm gold in the game, and once you build them, you'll get hundreds of thousands of gold. The first AFK farm I'm going to be testing is the cheapest and most popular AFK farm. More than likely, you've probably seen someone using this in your server. It only uses 2 portals, a wheel, and a couple of blocks, and optionally a jet, but you can use the glitch we saw earlier in this video instead of a jet. How does this thing work? It teleports you over here and you get a couple of gold each time you die. And for materials, all you need is 2 portals, which you can get from the secret crystal quest, and it only takes 5 minutes to build, so it is really affordable. But in terms of gold rate, it only makes around 8,000 to 12,000 gold per hour with the 2 times game pass. But if you are just starting the game, this is the best option you have, and if you aren't, these next AFK farms are for you. This is an old farm I built years ago, but there's many problems with it, so let's fix it. First, this way of teleporting you can make you get stuck sometimes, so let's just change that. And since this bridge breaks over time, let's change it to this design by Satie, which is unbreakable, and we're finished. It is a little bit difficult gold to build, and you do need a decent amount of blocks. But with all that, this farm makes around 20,000 to 24,000 gold per hour with the 2x game pass. This farm may seem very fast, and it is, but the next farm is even faster. The last and the best AFK farm in the game is this by I Do Stuff, which uses many portals. So basically, while the gold block is loading from the chest, you teleport through the stages, making this the most efficient farm to date. But there's just one slight problem. It's very hard to build. I spent a whole day sitting on my computer following the tutorial. I was sitting for so long my cheeks started to hurt. Anyways, back to the video. So sometimes it takes a little bit too long for the portal to teleport you, but that's all. It's really easy to set up, and it only takes a few thousand blocks. And you don't need to worry about this farm breaking because it is unbreakable. So finally, how much gold does this thing make? It makes 30,000 gold per hour with the 2x game pass. If you leave this thing overnight, you'd already be hundreds of thousands of gold richer, making it the most fastest way to get gold in the game that I know of. But wait, there's one more way to get gold I've been skipping this entire time, and that's building your own boat and selling it to the end. We've all built our first boat with a couple of blocks and a seat, and pressed that launch button not knowing what would come next. It may not be as fast as the other ways to get gold, but it is definitely the most fun way. And in my opinion, having fun and making your own boat is the best way to get gold. And with that, thank you for watching and subscribe for more.